Kapp jumped up and was suddenly in Claire's face. His movement was so swift, Claire didn't see him walk over to her. The massive size of her husband's muscular 6'2" chiseled physique towered over her like a skyscraper. Claire, standing 5'9" in heels, timidly gazed up at him as the two faced each other. There was a look in Kapp's eyes Claire had never seen before, but she understood its meaning. The look said, "I am your husband and the man of the house. You are my wife and just a woman. I am in control, so never challenge me and never forget it." Claire backed up and slithered her way over to the sink in front of the kitchen window. Kapp followed. This was the first time Claire felt threatened by her husband. The first time she felt Kapp was perhaps angry enough to hit her. "Don't you ever answer me that way again," said Kapp, glaring down at her. "Now I asked you a question." "Darling, I... Claire placed her hand on her stomach as her eyes teared up. Kapp glanced down at his wife's slightly protruding belly. Claire noticed the muscles in her husband's face soften as he stepped back. Claire exhaled. "Yes, honey, I set it up. I was just doing what Mrs. Parks wanted. She wanted the interview to happen. She wanted to be heard." "You set it up the day you lied and told me you weren't feeling well, and Maddie was supposed to take you home? You had that photographer made up in blackface pretending to be a colored kid. Old man Ross, who lives next door to the Parks, saw you and the other two getting out of Maddie's car that day." Claire nodded her head vigorously. Yes, but I didn't think I was doing anything wrong." "Really? Then why did you sneak around? Why did you go to the trouble of hiding what you were doing if you thought it was all right? Why didn't you tell me? Answer me, Claire." Claire put her hand to her forehead and rubbed her temple. "Well, because I don't know. Mrs. Parks and some of the other women thought that Rosa was getting pushed aside, so they thought it best that no one knew about the interview until after it published." "Rosa Parks and which other women?" Claire turned away. She suddenly felt overcome by a strange feeling. Every corpuscle in her body felt like lightning bolts rippling through her veins. Oddly, the sensation made her feel fearless. She no longer felt threatened or afraid. Instead, Claire perceived herself to be strong enough to take on anybody, even her husband. Her sense of power and control were both exhilarating and frightening. One part of her wanted to stand her ground. The other part wanted to surrender. Claire lifted her shoulders and arched her back. She was about to give a reply to her husband when the fetus inside her kicked not once, not twice, but 3 times.